Welcome, everyone. And on behalf of the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, I'd like to thank you for joining today's webinar about Hands Across the Sand, the annual event to stand up for our beaches against the threats of offshore drilling happening this Saturday. My name is Chris Carnevale, and I'm the Coastal Climate and Energy Manager for the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy. For those of you not familiar with the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, we're a regional membership organization that promotes responsible energy choices to ensure clean, safe, and healthy communities throughout the Southeast. For ways in which you can become a member and get involved, please visit our website, www.cleanenergy.org. Now, I'd like to take a moment to review the basic functions of the Zoom platform on the bottom of your screen. To ensure sound quality, all attendee lines will be muted throughout the presentation. If you're having trouble hearing or seeing the slides, click the chat button and type in your problem so that we can help you troubleshoot. We've saved time at the end of the presentation to answer questions and have a discussion. So since we're a small group, we'll go ahead and unmute the lines for the Q&A and discussion portion. Lastly, we're recording the webinar and it will be posted on our YouTube channel. This webinar is part of the Southeast Coastal Climate Network webinar series. The Southeast Coastal Climate Network is a network of individuals and organizations interested in climate and energy in the Southeast. If you enjoyed today's webinar and would like to receive regular news updates and action alerts, please join the network by emailing me at chris@cleanenergy.org. Joining us today is Hands Across the Sand Executive Director, Dede Shelton. Dede Shelton is the Executive Director and sister to Dave Roshkolb, the founder of Hands Across the Sand. Dede has managed Hands since 2011 from her home in Boise, Idaho. Even though she does not live on a beach, she visits her brother and his family near Seaside, Florida often, and lived in Fort Walton Beach and Tyndall Air Force Base for many years. Her passion to protect our oceans and lands from the harmful effects of fossil fuels sustains and drives her to continue to be a true believer in the power of like-minded people joining hands around the world in silent solidarity to say no to fossil fuels and yes to clean energy. So I'll hand it over to Dede.
Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate this. And hello, everybody that's called in or got on your computer and signed in. I want to thank Southern Alliance for Clean Energy for this opportunity. And hopefully we'll be able to do this again next year so that we can train more organizers and answer questions of folks that are just interested in Hands Across the Sand. As Chris said, a disclaimer, I live in Idaho. I am in a landlocked area, but I went to Florida State University, so I'm a Florida girl as well. And we also work on land issues that I'll get to later. But I wanted to just quickly run over history of Hands and our mission, of course, and then peruse through our brand new this year webpage, greatly improved, and just quickly highlight some of the things on our webpage that are helpful to our organizers and to people that don't know anything about Hands. It's got a lot of information on there, but if you ever have time to peruse the whole webpage, congratulations, that'll probably take you about an hour, but it's all good information. So I tend to talk fast. Someone please say slow down or stop me if you have a question, no worries. The history of Hands, Dave and I are both surfers. Dave is the better surfer, I have to say, but he's also a restaurateur, and his restaurants are in Seaside, Florida. And he was running a fundraiser for somebody that was running for the Florida State Legislature. And this man told him that they were planning on opening up drilling around the state of Florida on all coasts. So he was standing around at this fundraiser at his restaurant and said, what can we do to stop this? And he said, what can we call it if we do it? And he said, Hands Against Drilling, Line in the Sand, Hands in Sand. I mean, nothing really fit. And he finally said, Hands Across the Sand, and came up with the concept of joining hands facing the ocean to protect our beaches from, and creating this line in the sand from the oil rigs that they were planning on putting out in the Gulf of Mexico. I hear that there's about 2,500 defunct wells, so we need to take care of those too. But we're also fighting big oil. So he pulled together a web page with some friends and made it to where you could register an event, and got all kinds of sponsors like MoveOn.org, Oceana, Surfrider. I think Southern Alliance has been with us from the beginning as well. And got these people involved in protecting the state of Florida. So people got on there and they registered to attend, and there was about 10,000 people around the whole state of Florida with 80 events. So this is just Florida. So the first event took place in 2009. And let's see, that was in February, I believe. And they won. The state legislature decided not to open up nearshore and offshore drilling for the state of Florida. So when we saw this powerful gathering of a grassroots organization, what it could do, we were psyched about that, and we put hands across the sand to bed. In April of that same year, or the next year, BP blew up in the Gulf of Mexico, the oil rig. And 5 weeks after that, we gathered more international organizations to sponsor. We built a huge web page within those 5 weeks after BP blew up. And it became a national and international event. And it was in May of 2010. And we had events in all 50 states, 2 territories, and 40 countries around the globe. If you go into our gallery or our Flickr page, you can see some of the events that were held in London and Germany and Ireland and all over the world. We have since had events in Nepal and in Iraq. We had one in Iraq. I mean, can you believe that? There was only a few people there, and bless their hearts, but they did it. But in 2010, it was huge. There were thousands and thousands of people. And we came up with the idea to start in New Zealand at noon on their time zone and go around the world in each time zone at noon. So that was a total success. We're now in our 10th year, 9th year for global events. And of course, our philosophy is, again, to bring together individuals and organizations to promote clean energy. I mean, how easy is that? We draw metaphorical and actual lines in the sand, human lines against fossil fuels. And this moves our leaders to adopt new policies encouraging the growth of clean and renewable energies. And I think HANDS has really had a huge impact on some of the policies that are being made. They know we're out here. They see us joining hands on the beaches, in our parks, on our Capitol steps, along our rivers every year. So it's our opportunity to get citizens out joining in a 15-minute. We didn't want to make it a long event, 15 minutes. Now, some people do make it into beach cleanups and barbecues and have speakers, which is amazing. We love that. But we added land issues in 2015 because of the fracking threat and the KXL pipeline and coal and mountaintop clearing and all the processes involved with fossil fuels. So we added it. Now we are, as you can see on your screen, hands across the sand / hands across the land. And we do stand against fracking and all of that. Usually we have some events take place in the landlocked areas, but this year we don't. Yeah, so that's a little concerning, but because fracking is taking over the area, the United States. So that's a scary thing to deal with as well. But I'd like to thank Patrick from Alleviate Marketing who is our new web designer, and he has designed this amazing web page with a lot of information that I gave him. He was able to compartmentalize all of that information. So I appreciate that. So hopefully everybody can see the map. We now have an international map that can be down the plus sign. You can drag and open it further to see all of the events. As you can see, we have some in Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, Canada, and of course, all along the East Coast. I mean, this is just amazing how many events. And actually, as of this morning, we have 95 events in 4 countries, and of course, the United States. So 16 of those are international events in Australia, Belize, Canada, and New Zealand. So we're real excited about that and everybody that's participating. So if you are an organizer or if you're just interested, click into our webpage, and if you go to view registered events, you can find a list. You just click on the state or the international area to find out where the events are. It will take you to the page. You can also kind of click on the pins, and it will have a click here to learn more, but it'll tell you exactly where this ends. Oh, so we do have a landlock. I mean, it's in Chicago, so we do have one there. So it's really easy to find out where, and Wisconsin, find out where these are. So we've provided that easy way to do it. But there's also, if you're not an if you're just an attendee and you decide you want to be an organizer, it's very easy to fill out the form to register your event. We even have a video that talks to you about how to fill out all of this information so that people know where your event's going to be, including the details, like take alternative energy. Transportation, like buses or walk or ride a bike, carpool. We provide a place for Facebook URL, so we promote that. I promote every event that I can on the Hands Facebook page. So please go to the Hands Facebook page and like us there. We have a causes. You can put down what causes. You can add others if you want, if the cause isn't listed right there. So we definitely have an easier way to register your events. So moving right along. Does anybody have questions yet? Okay. If not, we have a lot of click here. So please feel free to click there when you get a chance. It's even more information, but what I really like this year is we have a countdown. And we started this countdown about 4 months out. So it has been counting down. We now have 1 day, 20 hours, 44 minutes, and 0 seconds until we join hands. Under that, of course, we have the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, donate, and I'll talk to you about that later. Our sponsors, these are the people that get the word out for me, because just me. I am the only, in quotes, employee of Hands Across the Sand. So I manage this with a few board members that are there to advise me, and our advisors from the sponsors. But please click on our sponsors and learn about what they're doing to save our planet and save the oceans, because they are instrumental in this. They get the word out for me to recruit organizers. They're definitely my front line for organizer recruitment, because I send emails out to all the old organizers from past years, but they're the ones that can really reach the masses. So I depend on them. So we do have a sponsor page as well, if you want to click on them. And again, and I will finish with our gallery. That's an amazing page. But this is the founder. That's my little brother. Again, he's got actually now 6 restaurants down in the seaside area. And that was me on a kayak day. So let's see. So the key is the organizers that organize these events are the ones to get the word out through their social media, community boards, reaching out to radio and TV stations, and using all of the resources that we have. So I wanted to just highlight the menu at the top, and then I'll go through some of the resources, and then we'll be able to open this up for questions. So we have a solutions page, and these are our solutions that our sponsors have provided us with as reading to really understand some clean energy solutions, information about transportation, fuel economy, gas mileage tips, of course, the needs for electric cars, energy efficiency. So some of my sponsors have provided you with a lot of reading material, wind and solar, of course. So please visit the solutions page, and if you want to learn more about how to be part of the solution other than standing and joining hands every year with us. It's always the 3rd Saturday in May, so it's real easy to figure out. Resolutions, there's been a lot of resolutions signed up and down the East Coast by towns and cities. So please visit our resolutions site and see some that Oceana has posted. And then we have some from a bunch of other cities and towns along the East Coast regarding a resolution taken by their cities to not have drilling off their shores. So let's just go through some of the resources that we have. Again, I try and promote our organizers to get the word out, especially to promote using alternative energy to walk and carpool, take a bus. So if you click on getting started, definitely watch this training video that we have that Urban Paradise Guild in Miami provided for us. They put this together and gave it to us. Miami is historically been the largest event in the world. 2010, I think they had like 2,000 people joining hands along Miami Beach, and you'll be able to see that when you click on this video. And it's really short. It talks about how to get people up off their rear ends and their towels to join hands with you by just asking them nicely, telling them a little bit about hands, and saying, hey, at noon we're going to join hands for 15 minutes in silent solidarity. We don't call this a protest. We don't use that word. We use a gathering is how I like to describe it. Some people call it a demonstration, but it's not really that either. It's a gathering of like-minded people. We don't talk politics. Anybody can do this. A Republican, a Democrat, anybody can join hands against offshore drilling. So it's really easy. So in our getting started, we have that video, and then we have a slideshow that provides you with all information about all the links, a picture of my little brother and his firstborn, but all kinds of simple information on how to get started with an event. Of course, creating a Facebook event is easy these days. We have a slot in the registration for your URL. I will put it on the Hands Facebook page. That's the easiest way to do it. But like this says, tell your friends, use your social media, send out the press releases that I'll show you in a minute. contact radio stations, community boards, etc. So this is a easy how to do it kind of slideshow. Can everybody see what I'm doing? Chris, can you see this? And
Yep. Yeah.
okay,
I can
great.
see you going through it.
Great. So under that, we have our philosophy, how to organize an event, event organizer responsibilities. So I think I will click on that, but on some of our pages, it is sometimes redundant. So if you go to another page, you may see some of the same clickable links. So don't panic, it's the same thing. It's not more information. It's just giving you the same information with options of where to find it. And as you notice, we do have a Flickr group, of course, our Facebook page. Please go on it and like us, and Twitter. And I do use the Twitter, as they call it, to send out tweets, but I usually use Facebook a lot more. So event organizer responsibilities is under this link as well as others. And I want to thank Patrick for all the great pictures of people joining hands on every link. If you click on anything, you're going to see a new picture of one of our past events. And they're just amazing, some of them, that show so many people joining hands. But organizer responsibilities, this literally tells you all on how to do this. You know, invite dignitaries to speak if you want. Of course, use alternative transportation, the Facebook page. Make sure you walk around and invite people that are just standing around or sitting around. Some areas have started requiring permits. So find out if wherever you want to have an event that there's not a permit required. Sometimes they'll give them to you for nothing, since when you tell them it's a 15-minute gathering, it's kind of a no-brainer. But if they refuse and they're going to charge you for a permit, go somewhere else, have it somewhere else. There's somewhere you can have it, even in a park. It doesn't have to be on the beach. Go and visit businesses and ask them to sponsor your posters and banners and t-shirts if you'd like. You know, that's really easy to do, and I will show you that link for posters, banners, and t-shirts. Get, if possible, try and find some free advertising on like-minded radio stations and TV. Definitely try and secure a photographer or a videographer. Last 2 or 3 years in Belize, we've had drone video. And in 2010, the organizer in Miami got a helicopter from a news company to go up there. So if you go and if you Google Miami 2010 Hands Across the Sand event, you're going to see the whole video. And I'm sure we have it on our Hands page as well. But it was so powerful to see those thousands of people joining hands. But last but not least, take pictures. That's what Hands is all about. Those pictures of all those people joining against fossil fuels and their processes. We ask that you take as many pictures as you can and email them, print them and mail them to any way you can get. Take them to their offices in your state, any way you can get to your Congress people, because they're the ones making this legislation about offshore drilling. And they are, excuse the word, hell-bent on doing that. So the more pictures they can receive from us, from you, the better. Because I certainly send them to my congressman. I'm probably not getting too far with them, but I used to be a lobbyist for AARP, so they know me well. And now I am advocating for our planet. So they're almost like, oh no, here she comes again. But this list is so comprehensive. You know, you don't have to do it all. It's pick a few. And the hardest thing to do, or the most important thing to do, is number one, get the word out through your social media. Number two, send those pictures to your congressman. So that's the responsibility. We have talking to the press, you know, what you say, what you shouldn't, don't call it a protest, you know, things like that. There's information. We have talking points that we provide on how to talk about Hands Across the Sand. A lot of times our organizers are interviewed by radio or TV, and the talking points give you ideas on what to say. Here's, this link is helpful documents. And again, the day of the event, what to do. Here's the talking points, how to generate media coverage. You know, a lot of people aren't familiar with how radio and TV works, but we provide press releases and advisories, and I'll show you that page. But here's how to generate media coverage and the countdown. Keeping the peace, how to handle opposition. Please read this. Sometimes you'll run into people that are saying, no, we need all these oil products and we need oil off our shores. I mean, I found there's a lot of folks that vacation in North Florida from Texas, and you know, they're really supporting their offshore drilling. So these are ideas on how to handle the opposition. So that may be something you run into. Hopefully you won't, because again, this is just a silent gathering of people, like-minded people. So just a few more links that I wanted to cover. Press materials. Again, we have a press statement from Dave. Dave is super busy with his restaurants, and he is working on customary use for his county being the only county that was in a bill taking away customary use of their beaches. So he's really involved in that, and that's why he's given me the reins of hands. And you know, I'm loving it. Always have. But we have advisories, releases, a national press advisory that we will be sending out. We have international press materials, a sample op-ed. I mean, it's real easy to make this your own, some of our things. The sample letter to the editor, you can make that your own. So please utilize these press materials. The thing that I like the most is our posters, banners, and flyers. My computer's a little slow, but look at this picture. It says no drilling with a line and toes. I mean, this is one of my favorite pictures. I should probably make that one into a t-shirt. But some of our sponsors have given us posters, and you can download these. It has, this one was specifically for recruitment this year, but this one just has the date, our organization, and no drilling. This one's specifically for Florida. So these are posters. And I mean, they're pretty great. This one has a little tear off. So they're easy to download, and you could take it to a business and say, hey, can you support Hands Across the Sand by paying for some of these posters? So that's easy, and some people have done that. Some people just pay for printing, and I don't want this to cost anybody. So I'm on the t-shirt link. And again, there's another powerful picture. I don't know how many, I think there was like 200 in this. This might have been one of the East Coast, maybe North Carolina. Florida is leading in the amount of events with 30, I think, and North Carolina has 12, I think are the stats right now. So those are the two states leading. But here's the t-shirts. Again, you download the t-shirt information I don't know if it's a URL or what, but you can put it on a thumb drive, take it to a print store, and they will do these t-shirts for you, black and white. So you know, they're pretty cool. We've had some artists do those long ago. Those are some pretty older ones. But here's a fact sheet. There's another amazing picture that might have been in a colder climate. So typically Australia is in winter when we're in summer. But here's a surf rider and an Oceania fact sheet on this page. So gosh, I think I'm almost done with all of our resources. But as you can see, we've got a lot of information that helps the organizer. Even though it's a 15-minute event, we've got a lot of help out there for you. So I wanted to go back to my home page. Again, you just hit Hands Across the Sand logo. This is our logo. We have those logos under images if you want to use it for your Facebook page or for any other like written materials. It's easy to download that. We did have an event in New York cancel this morning because they found out that the Corps of Engineers is blocking beach access to get ready for the holiday, Memorial Day. I don't know, that's like 2 weeks out, but evidently they're doing that. So she had to cancel her event. If you have to cancel, please post somebody there for like an hour to maybe steer them to another event, which there is another one in New York at Rockaway. So please do that. So I wanted to highlight our gallery because at the end of the events, you can go back to our homepage and you can upload your pictures here. If you have a video that you want to upload, please put it in a YouTube, go to YouTube and upload it to YouTube and just send it to me. And I will get it placed on our webpage and on our Facebook page. But please watch some of these videos. I think this one in the lower left is the Miami Beach one from 2010. It's pretty amazing. So we can upload your videos and your pictures right onto our webpage this year. So I'm so excited about this. These two, this was, if you, let me see if I can click on this one. This was one of the events in Australia, and they had them on the 5th and the 11th because they have national elections on Saturday. So they wanted to create their line, and it's a huge one, just to make sure that they had that image and those pictures to present to the people running for elected positions in their country. So all of these, here's Yuma Beach in Australia. These are all from this year. So please peruse those as well. Our social media, that's you can click on that. Current news is just an article about Hands Across the Sand. Most importantly, we have a contact us link. So if you have questions, please contact us. We always respond. It's Patrick and I. So we will be happy to answer any of your questions. And having said all of that, I hope I didn't bore you to death, but I hope I've created some information for organizers and some folks ready to hit the ground running this weekend. And if not, next year, 2020, let's make it even bigger than it's ever been and join hands for our oceans and our lands. Questions?
All right. Kyle, can you unmute everyone, please?
Yeah. Okay, everybody should be able to talk now.
Okay, I saw Holly. Holly had her hand up first. Holly, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, Holly. Yep, we can hear you.
So we have an event in North Carolina on Saturday, and I belong to the Unitarian Church here in Morehead City, and so we've had a lot of trouble, which after I looked at this and listened to you, Dede, I see was probably unnecessary, because we were trying to co-sponsor with the Sierra Club and the Crystal Coast Waterkeepers, and so we didn't get a flyer until Monday of this week. So we haven't been able to distribute it and all of that stuff. And so next year, since you're making it so easy, next year I think we'll just go it alone, because I think we can. So hopefully we can get more people coming.
Yeah, Holly. I mean, again, it's, getting the word out any way you can. Flyers, posters,
Right.
community boards. So your social media, tell a friend. That's how we started. Tell a friend. Because in 2010 we didn't have as much of the Facebook and all of that we have now. So now it's even easier. But yeah,
Right.
if things, and I always say 2 people are a hands across the sand event. I mean, seriously, we had a beach in New Zealand that literally had 2 people show up. And I think that's fabulous. They're there, they're making a statement, and it's powerful. So however many you have this year, great. And next year will be even better.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
And Holly, do you have a Facebook event page for the event?
Our congregation does. It hasn't been posted. I will talk to the woman who does our Facebook.
Okay.
See if it's too late to put it on there. I don't know. They don't
Gotcha.
active either. So
that's something so I've organized an event the past 7 years. And the tool that I've really found the most helpful is creating an event page on Facebook and then inviting, whichever of your friends you think might be interested. And the great thing about that is then they can, and you ask them to invite their friends, and it's kind of like it's an easy way for
it to snowball.
Yeah, it just kind of organically spreads, everyone who's interested and who thinks it's cool, they'll invite their friends, and then they invite their friends, and that kind of
tell
thing.
a friend.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, we will try that next year, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Tammy, did you have a question? Nope. Okay.
No.
All right. Well, anything else before we wrap up? Any other questions, discussion?
Anybody? I could talk about hands all day. But thanks, Chris, for having 7 events. That's amazing. You guys have been with us from the beginning, along with Oceana, Surfrider, Sierra Club. If anybody is involved in any of these organizations, please contact. And I forgot about that. As an organizer, Google these sponsors and see if they have a local chapter, and go to them and say, hey, set up a table at my event, and how can you help me? So please go and visit our sponsors if they are in your area. They don't always have chapter offices in every state, but I know North Carolina does, has a lot of them. And again, North Carolina with Vicki and Randy and all the folks up there that have joined us every year. They're amazing. And again, my heroes are my organizers. Y'all are just amazing that you do this every year. And some organizers have been with us the whole 10 years. So thank you. No other questions?
All right. Well, as Dede said, there's the contact page on the HANDS website. And of course, feel free to contact me at chris@cleanenergy.org. As I mentioned earlier, this has been recorded, so we'll post it on SACE's YouTube channel so that the video can be referenced later on. Also, if you enjoyed this presentation, please consider joining SACE so we can continue our work towards clean energy solutions for the Southeast. Again, visit cleanenergy.org for info on how to join and become involved. And Dede, did you want to make a plug for donations to HANDS?
Oh, I totally forgot. Thank you, Chris. Yes, we have a little heart up here at the top of the page. Donate. Again, it's a one-man show. I have a few sponsors, but the sponsorship is really low. It's cost effective for them because it's a low sponsorship. But I need support for my webpage and for getting the word out and things like that. So please feel free to donate. Click on this little donate button or this one. Please feel free to donate, and thank you in advance for that as well. We are a 501c3. So we will take any donations, and please pass the word about Hands Across Sand to all you know.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dede, and thank you to our attendees as well. Hope you have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, you too.
Bye, thank you.